What's up, Infected? It's Wolf with the Quarantine, and this is Kickstart Your Week. So for those of you who may not know what Kickstart Your Week is, this is my weekly segment that I just go over the previous week's Kickstarters that I thought looked interesting. Now, there's really no hard, fast rules about what I do and don't put in this list. Maybe it's something I previewed or reviewed. Maybe it's something that, I don't know, I've been following for months. Maybe it's something I found 10 minutes before I started recording. Once I find something, I usually look over the Kickstarter page, watch the video, do various amounts of research, you know, if it looks cool. However, there is one hard, fast rule that I do go by, is I do limit it to a maximum of 5. Sometimes I don't get 5. If there's not a lot that really jumps out at me, catches my eye, I won't even get 5. But sometimes there's way more than 5, so I've got to draw a line somewhere, 'cause there's so many Kickstarters out there. Some of them are really good, look really awesome, but I do have to draw the line somewhere, so I limit it to 5. Right. So starting this off the right way here is Level 7 Omega Protocol, the 2nd edition. So I actually still have my Level 7 over there. I have fully painted and whole 9 yards. I haven't played it in quite a while, purely because it's a 1 versus all game, and they generally don't make it to the table very often. But Level 7 Omega Protocol is a phenomenal 1 versus all game. It starts off weighted towards the side of the Marines. You know, it's a little harder for the 1 to win, but then as you progress through the campaign, if you play them, you know, the missions in succession, it starts going towards the side of the bad guy. But it's a really good game. I thoroughly enjoy it. It's got some interesting, kind of finicky line of sight rules, which this one I think fixes, or if it doesn't fix, they're not that bad. They just take a little getting used to, but it's a fantastic game. I'm a big sci-fi nerd to begin with, and so this game definitely jumped out at me just right out of the get-go. And I picked this up a while back, and like I said, I don't play it as often as I'd like. There is the bonus content here, which if nothing else, I may go ahead and kickstart just that. I don't know. But then you get the base game as well. But then you're also going to get, so yeah, we have here the all the bonus content, new rooms, cards, monsters. I guess alternative, because all the monsters that you can get have little cards that affect how they play, and like abilities that they have. So it looks like this comes with new ones. So new rooms, new kit cards, new investigate cards, an exclusive white die. Yeah, scenario books, which is pretty cool. So more scenarios. But this is all the stuff that comes in the base game. Really good game, like I said. And by getting this, you're also going to be getting the Extreme Prejudice expansion. So it's $125, then plus shipping. But you're going to get like this big old mecha suit and the Gin Commando. I don't know if that's a G or C. I think it's a G. But yeah, so you're going to get all of this stuff. And this game is real good. It's got a really cool mechanic where every time you take an action, you have to spend adrenaline. But when you spend adrenaline, it comes to me as the bad guy, and now I get to do stuff with that spent adrenaline. So now you have to kind of weigh, is it worth taking these actions? Because by you taking the actions, it's just going to give the bad guy more shit that he can do. And it's so cool, so good. And the game has been out of print for quite a while. And now is going to be a good chance to hop on board. If you like 1 versus all games, you like games like Descent or Imperial Assault, stuff like that, you definitely pick this one up. It's pretty much the same game. The biggest complaint that I have with it, honestly, is with my 1st edition. All of the minis are soft plastic, and so that's kind of a bummer and really annoying. But the biggest gripe that I have is the boards, they're flush with each other. So if you bump the table or anything, rooms kind of start moving and stuff. It's kind of a pain. It's not that big of a deal. I actually thought about putting like magnetic tape all the way around all of them, cut them real thin, glued on the top so they stay a little better, but I never got around to doing it. But no, it's a fantastic game. If you like 1 versus all, you like dungeon crawling style games, this is definitely one to pick up, and now's your chance because, again, it's been out of print for a while. Next up here is Processing, a game of serving humanity. Now, I have reviewed this game, and it is a really fun game. It's got a lot of interesting humor to it. Basically, aliens, a very far superior alien race, has taken over Earth, and they're processing some of us into food. Some of us get to be like part of this council to see who lives or who dies. Other of us get probed. So it's it's a very interesting game, and it's got a lot of interesting humor. It's got a lot of interesting references to it as well. So if you're a big sci-fi nerd like me, you're gonna probably pick up on a lot of the humor and the references. But the really cool thing that's with the game is, so throughout the course of the game, you're going to be, this is like the council that you're appeasing, and you're going to go up this track. But this is making them angry. So what's going to happen is whoever's the highest on this, this is one of the variants, but I recommend always playing with it. Whoever's the highest on this just immediately loses. That's in the base game. Like if you're highest on that, you lose, doesn't matter what your score is. Because it's really easy to just blow up with a bunch of points, but also make them very angry. So that's kind of a way to balance it out. You don't want to be the highest. So one person's just going to lose no matter what. But on this track, one of the variants you can use is you get points equal to like so much times whatever your score is there. It's like double your points there, so that gets added to your score. So being high up on this track is really good because you can get a huge amount of points, but it's also super risky. And so it's a really, really good game. I think they, because I got my video out a little later than I meant to, so I think they have it in the updates. I'm not 100% sure. But no, it is a fantastic game. I highly recommend, if you want just a good, funny, light little game, definitely check this one out. Next up, we have Valhalla. Now, this one I also reviewed. So I was debating on whether or not I wanted to put it on this list, and I'll explain why. So the game is phenomenal. I adore this game. The artwork is great. I have the prototype copy over there. The artwork's great. The gameplay is fantastic. There's so many really cool mechanisms behind it. However, there are some very big, in my experience anyway, some very, very big balancing issues with the game, with Valhalla himself, and that really turned me off with the game. So I gave it basically a pass unless that gets fixed. So with that said, I'm adding it to, I put it on this list because outside of the balancing issue with Valhalla himself, the game is fantastic. It is outstanding. It is a very, because I love deck builders, and this is a deck builder with direct player interaction, direct player conflict, like Star Realms, essentially, where you're directly attacking each other. And I like deck builders to do that, because so many deck builders, really good ones, are very much a kind of a solo game. There's not a whole lot of interaction. This one has a lot of player interaction with it. It's very easy to play, and there's a lot of really interesting strategy behind it. I actually just emailed him the review this morning, so it hasn't had a chance to get put up yet. But the artwork in it's just beautiful, and like I said, there's so much that's just really cool that this game does. I just really hope that they fix the balancing issue that I had with the game. But other than that, like I said, it is a phenomenal game. If you like deck builders, definitely at least follow this one along. Watch my review. It'll kind of break down a little bit more of the problem that I had with it. Next up is Valhalla. Now, Valhalla, I also reviewed this one, which it will be out, I think, tomorrow? Or maybe Tuesday, I don't remember. It's Sunday night right now, that's why I said tomorrow. But it'll be out either Monday or Tuesday. I don't remember when I scheduled it. I have to try to stick with YouTube's dumb algorithm. But Valhalla is a really cool card and dice push your luck game with a little bit of a tableau element to it. And the artwork is fantastic. And the way the game plays, I'll actually just show you here. You have this little board. And again, I've also reviewed this, so be on the lookout for that here very shortly. But you see here, you have this little tableau, and I keep pointing at the screen. I don't know why. But you have your tableau here. You're going to be doing several different actions. You're going to be putting warriors down, and then you're going to be fighting each other with dice. And on the cards, you have these symbols that you see here, and you're trying to roll those symbols to activate those cards to actually attack. And when you do that, pardon me, when you do that, you're going to add the value that you see here to your attack value. So as the attacker, you're going to be rolling dice, trying to activate your people. They charge, then the defender does the same thing. Whoever has the most wins. But the interesting thing is you could re-roll those dice as many times as you want. But every time you re-roll a die, you have to get rid of it, and you don't get to roll it. So you put it off to the side. It's out of play for that fight. And then you roll 5 dice now, and then you roll 4 dice and 3 dice. So you can, it's a very push your luck game. Do you maybe activate some of the crappy guys that you have and just take what you can get, or do you try to shoot for those bigger ones? But then there's so many expansions and just different things you can add to this game. There's the giants, there's the dwarves, there's the Valkyrie, there's Loki, there's Odin, there's King of the Hill, there's team-based games, there's more Jarls, there's, oh my god, there's so much to this game. But playing it, as you see here, 30 to 60 minutes, that's completely accurate. With I think the most we played it with was 4 or 5, and I think it took maybe an hour and 20 minutes, hour and a half, and that was with teaching. It's a fairly quick game. And then there's also, as you see here, there's a solo variant where you fight against Fenris instead. It's just, oh my god, it is so good. And it's very simple to play. There's really 4 things you're gonna do on your turn, one of 4 things, and that's it. As you see here, you can send warriors to fight. Well, I thought that was going to list the different actions, but then on top of that, the artwork is just stunning. I love the artwork. You get these really nice fold-out boards where you have your Valhalla and everything, which is something I didn't even mention. With Valhalla, when you actually gain points by letting your people die. So sending them off to battle, winning the battle, and they die in battle, and they go to Valhalla and they score you points. So it's this whole game of like, do you send try to activate everybody so they all die and you just get a bunch of points, but then your opponent gets a free attack on you because you don't have anything to defend anymore. And oh my god, there's just so much cool stuff to this game. I absolutely adore everything about this game. I highly recommend this one. And lastly is Pathogenesis. So we actually have 5 games this week. It seems like it's been a while since that's happened. But Pathogenesis is it's the STD expansion plus 2nd edition full reprint. So I never heard of this game until reviewing these. And it's a deck builder, which I'm already a big fan. I'm already on board. It's got a science theme. I'm a big, when I was in high school, one of the only classes I really got a good grade in was biology, and this is, you are a disease, you're a pathogen. This is the STD expansion, so it's a new pathogen, and basically it looks like you're trying to basically shut down the human body. So there's another game, I'm wanting to say it was Arcane Wonders, I'm probably wrong about that, came out with a game called Viral, which was a very light worker placement game where you're also trying to do that. You're trying to basically destroy your host. This looks like a more serious version of Viral, basically, and as more of a deck builder. And all around, it looked really cool. I don't know a whole lot about the game. It just definitely piqued my interest. I happened to notice it shortly before I started recording. But again, the thing that caught my attention here is the theme. So sometimes you don't want to save the world. Sometimes you want to destroy it. For example, you have Pandemic, but then you have Plague Inc. And I actually almost enjoy Plague Inc. more than Pandemic because it breaks that mold. You're not trying to save everybody. You're wanting to watch the world burn, almost literally. You want to watch the world explode into bleeding diarrhea with exploding pustules. So that's kind of the thing I got from this is it's the other side of you're not trying to save anybody. You're trying to shut down the body, and it looks like it says it's recommended for like teachers and stuff like that. So it looks like it's actually also going to teach you a bit about how how the pathogens function, which I thought was really neat. And that is Kickstart Your Week for this week. So as you saw, there's actually 5 games this week, and that seems like it hasn't happened in a while because I don't know, maybe I'm getting more cynical with the more Kickstarters that I get in that are disappointing, or I don't know. But these ones maybe it was easier this week because I already own the 1st edition of Level 7. I've played 3 of the games, and I really like the theme of the Pathogenesis. So my Kickstart Your Week, my arbitrary Kickstart Your Week award this week was a little difficult to kind of settle on because, again, Level 7 Omega Protocol is a fantastic game. Probably won't be kickstarting it purely because I already have the 1st edition. The 2nd edition stuff apparently is a hard plastic, so there's going to be like differences between the minis. I have a weird feeling that also means card sizes are going to be a little different, stuff like that. If anything, I might just get the upgrade pack. I don't know, but it is a fantastic game. But 1 versus all games don't make it to our table very often, so I didn't want to give the arbitrary award to that. Valfurion is a phenomenal deck builder, but there's some balancing issues that I had an issue with, but it's still prototype, and it is subject to change, so maybe they'll fix those. Pathogenesis just looked really good, but I don't know enough about it. Then we have the processing. Processing is just a really fun, filler, just entertaining game. So I'm settling on Valhalla as my Kickstarter, arbitrary Kickstarter of the week award. Valhalla is phenomenal. Out of all of the games that I've reviewed this past week, I'll back up a little bit. So the way it usually works when I review a game is I'll review a game, I'll play it several times with several different people, and then I'll make notes while I'm playing about what to talk about, stuff like this, get everybody's opinion and impression on the game, and then I'll kind of compile that along with my own opinion, and I try to keep it unbiased as possible. And then once the review's out, 9 times out of 10, that game will go into a box and goes out in the shed or up in the attic or somewhere. However, Valhalla, I've played it probably a half dozen times after I've recorded the review, and it's just a good game. It's super light in terms of how to learn to play. It's very, very simple. The premise is really cool. The strategy behind it is outstanding. Do I attack you? But if I do, and I activate all these to get all this attack power, and then it all goes to Valhalla, and then I get so many points, but then you just get a free attack at me and steal one of my shields, and it's just back and forth. It's so good. Artwork's fantastic. You can really customize the game to fit pretty much any game group as well, which is just that much better. If you if you want, you can just add different combinations of the different expansions. There's only like 2 that you can't add together, and it just changes it could tailor it to your group's playstyle. So good. Such fantastic. Anyways, that is Kickstart Your Week. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I have some links down below if you'd like to help support the channel. Definitely share this video and subscribe if you're new here, and I'll see you guys next time in the quarantine.